a test run of these all-day drops. It's a 24-hour expiration time on each uh, rack of tickets, and a lot of them are scalps. Buying like one pip apart, and so when you drop that, it's going to put a 10K in. And this is the results after I kind of came into Sunday night. As it came into Monday morning, I put some orders up there, and this is where we're at. So we're not killing it, but we closed 240 bucks. If we walked away, we start with 5 grand. If we left right now in this millisecond, we'd be up 300. We could start over and rinse and repeat tomorrow. So how many tickets did I get in here? 2 days of trading, and we did 247K. Oh, trades. How can you have a half trade there? I don't know. It's kind of weird. But we did all these trades on these different currencies, and most of it was the euro because it kept going, smashing up into my sell limits, and the a little bit of dollar Swiss, and the yen was the other euro versus the. So I kind of got. That's how much I traded. That's not the winning trades. So I'm not really shooting for some precision entry, obviously. And so keep trading this. And I did close out some trades because I'm like, yeah, that's done moving. And 7.5 hours is about the length there. So let's take a peek into the actual account that caused this thing. So I'm publishing this using the FX Blue publisher here. So this thing. So I run this to test stuff out, but this is what I ran, and I can prove that I did it because I've got the so-called journal. So I came across ICT's video where he does this 10-minute video on his journaling. He's got these journaling books that looks like he got them from a shipwreck. And I'm like, wow, this guy's really not, I would never, like if I had a shipwreck, I wouldn't be writing in them. I'd be like, let's just keep these. These look pretty like, I don't know. But he writes all his trades out, and then he's got this private thing, and he talks about, so this guy just made a comment on the video there. You know, it's weird because he's got this, you know, if you need a security blanket, and you know, I like a nightlight on. You know, I don't really like to have anything silent when I'm sleeping. I cannot sleep in a silent room. I'm just too freaked out. I guess unless I was drunk. So, you know, I gotta have something on the radio. Something's gotta be in the background going on. You know, some kind of noise. I don't know why. I just had to have this comfort of noise. So people do have these things they have to do. Oh, I gotta put a 20 EMA on that. Yeah, I know. I can kind of see in my mind's eye what a 20 EMA would look like. I guess I'd like to try to guess what it would look like and the trade I would take based on a trend system. And then, so the flip between no nonsense forex guy and ICT is, I say, the ultimate extremes. This is Biden versus Trump. Well, not quite, but it's definitely high contrast. Those kind of people, of course, no nonsense isn't charging. You're just paying in your brain being tortured by his, like, where are you going with this? Like, I mean, why put the work into? So he does these videos where he's got the same still shots. I'm like, dude, really? But maybe that's how he's raised. Like, here's your blackboard, deal with it. And I don't know. So you never know people's motivations, but I got the feeling that the ICT guy's about, well, I'm a mentor, I'm this, you know, take you for a tour, show you around town. But then there's, you know, people that probably work at a prop firm and they're a complete nerd. Like I just saw this Lifetime movie where these people are so typecast, you know, the character was so cliche that it was like, they went to the morgue and the guy was so nerded out, he made like a dead body joke and just didn't even like try to make it funny. It was pretty, Elizabeth Berkley's in it, if you've seen it. But I was like, wow, that is just really so dry, you know. And so when I listen to the no nonsense guy, I'm just curious. I'm like, what is he talking? But I mean, to to talk about something you don't know anything about, like when he talks about CCI and RSI, CCI was designed to land airplanes, and you're trying to you trade forex with it, dude. It doesn't matter what the fuck you're doing. It's just nothing but a gauge. So I got this indicator that somebody wrote for me because I said I just want to see the fucking void. I want to see the vacuum. So I'm gonna put this as a comment in the thing, and it's pretty cool. Now there's two versions of it. I don't know where. I just know where one's. Yeah, I could track down the other one. And when you play it back inside of MetaTrader's strategy tester, I think you might have to reload the template if you lose the drawing of it. But it looks like this. I made a template out of it. Okay, this one it's not on here. This is just your classic trend line. But this is a trade that I have set up on the dailies. If the market plunges down, it retraces. It goes up. We make money. So today's winning trade was this one here on the dollar versus the yield euro. So I didn't take this trade. I'm very heavily into this dollar yen right now. So loaded the wagon on that. But here you can see a classic example of the so-called supply and demand zones. This is a 25 pip, about 30 pip window here. Now you could have retapped that area, and when it went just a little bit higher, now psychologically it's very hard to sell into that because people are like, dude, how much more is that going to go up? But I can prove to you that I sold into it. You know how? And this is my journal. I'm not going to break out these shipwrecked journals. But it's style, right? I mean, look, dude, if you want to, you know what? I mean, you can do that too. But here, this is dropped, and I know these lasted all day, so I know they filled because here is the, let me compress the 1 hour chart. I have a little problem with the video there. So let me get rid of the ticket. So this is what I'm dropping at these guys. They last all day. D1 is the code speak for a 24-hour script expiration. So if you have a day job, you could put tickets in here. Like, you don't even have to be here for this trade. Mind you, this is a 1 hour chart. These are 8 hour blocks. Actually, this isn't true. This is a different indicator where I made the blocks. Like, this is Asia. And then you come into the whole session where you get it doesn't matter because this is the top wick anyways. You know, if you're doing, you could sell this window starting here too. Now, it just depends how much money you have. But when you have to martingale in is when people just can't believe it's going higher and they don't have any money to do it because they sold too much into this, counting on what we just see here, right? So the sizing that you choose coming in is the most critical thing because you might have the most brilliant idea in the world. And I'm telling you, I have brilliant ideas, but I don't have I can't afford to hire attorneys to expedite it. Besides, I could just go play my guitar and have fun if I got an idea. I don't want to, the latency between the idea, the patents, and the whole drama now with the copyrights, forget about it. But we all know that there's these opportunities. And so in this market, you could take advantage of the dumbest fucking opportunity to sell high. Oh, how you sell? And people are going to tell you, what are you selling up there for? And the martingale is when you have to really hear at this point, when it gets above this, you're selling really just more than you've ever sold in your life, right? Because it makes sense. If you go to the 4 hour chart, so this one actually won't lose that one. And so the proof is there that I got filled, right? Because I dropped those tickets and I didn't get filled on the very tippy top tickets. In fact, they're still up there waiting to get filled. Top tick Tommies are up there. I got these sell limits that just are going to be there all day. Now those will go away. But I had enough money in the account where I just kept throwing the shit out there. So now I'm up $280. Now, if I babysat this, and this is without even selling at them, these is pure limits. I never sold at the market. I never sold on a stop. I never bought on a stop. I only bought on limits and sold on limits. And I really only took this trade off when we came slamming back to what most people's logical targets would be, is this inside fair value. Here's the double top. If you're an ICT person, you'd get this. Oh, look, it came right back to the double. Yeah, we can all say that shit. But my question is, did you really ride? And so in the dream world, and I'm sure ICT would have taken this trade today. If you can't see this trap up here, I'm afraid ICT might wait for confirmation. And I can see ICT's anybody that's thinks I don't know what he's talking about. I know what he's talking about. He would sell here on the 5-minute. When it comes wicking up to here, I guarantee you know what he's going to say there? Well, see, there's an order block there and see how there's a... Yeah, anybody could say that shit, but even the guy that got in like a gooberette and he put a sell stop here on the fucking Williams fractal, he made money if he got short there and he held on till now and he got the fuck out. Here's Asia. So here it's in 1 minute, it's going to be 7 o'clock at night, Eastern Standard Time. Boom. So everything's shifting. We're going into the Wednesday. Now here at the top of the hour. Boom. Everything updates. Everything changes. Here comes liquidity. Now the market's going to move. Is the euro to the dollar going to slam back up into this floor? I don't know. So how much are you buying here? If you think that's the exit for the bears right now into that smashdown, and now I'm going to delete all this shit because I'm going to put in this magical template with the void fill. So to me, this is how I can save myself some drawing or save yourself some thinking about where's the void? Where's the current void? Now you can see that if we would have let this thing paint to here, coming into that's 15-minute chart coming in, we'd have about a 30 pip, a narrow window. This thing just keeps repainting. And so this is gone now, but that would have been the floor we took out on the 15. So if you're an ICT trader, there's nothing, he's not doing anything fancy is all I'm saying. But I mean, if you can make a living selling something that's kind of just not, it's just kind of cryptic, puzzle piece kind of thing. So here's the fill, see, and see when it came whipping back there. I filled every ticket I had up there. I actually sold to the very tippy top too. That's another thing psychologically. I like the idea that I sold the fucking top of that. Why not? It's actually banging right on the round number. So this is a 20 pip grid, and this is the 100-yard line. I know no nonsense that the 100 doesn't always work, but that's 100 pips. Now we'll go to the half hour. And so here's the stairway to hell. So this is the void to fill. And I'm sure you can tell that once we got above this, it was Trap City. And that top did not become a bottom. So this is the other thing, is the reason why people like no nonsense are getting their head exploded when they try to trade simple rules like that without regard to the bigger structure. Yeah, this top did become a bottom, maybe for about 2 seconds there, but the weight is too heavy. Maybe I can certainly delete this. So I kind of want to delete the indicator, but in other words, this trap, and of course the indicator is kind of screwing up the view of that. But this window here, holy God, when you fill that, you got to know that is the tippy top on the 4-hour. If you go to the 4-hour chart, this window didn't change, right? So I changed the time frame from the 1 hour to this, and you still see this perfect, I would say the deepest liquidity void on here, other than this one up here, which the blue line's holding right now, is the next place in, like, imagine this is a 5-minute chart. Yeah, this would be the place to put stacks of tickets in, but if you do put 300K up there, then you some of these got to be scalps. Not everything in there can be an exit that is 200 pips below where we're at. That's the 4-hour chart. So it's going to take, another thing is that because this is down so hard in 4 hours, you got to buy a little bit here, right? Just for the dead cat bounce of it all. For the 20 pips to say here, if you're up for that, right? Every trade is going to take some kind of, but if you know this trade, which in about 6 minutes after, so in 5 minutes, the 5-minute traders are going to come in on this thing, and it could still go lower. There's no guarantee it's going to retrace right now in that 4 hours. So we just closed out. We're 2 hours from this last bar closing out. If you're going to sit here and time that, now this would be your breakout pullback. You got a top become a bottom on the half hour on the closing prices. Yeah, you're going to pull the trigger there a little bit. We certainly got this big stairway of void, and the nice thing about this indicator is that it already cancels this out. That is not, that's null and void. That's been filled and killed. That is no longer of any. The only thing that matters here is closing prices or where we fell out of bed, and that would be, well, this big structure close is a big deal. But these pivots that people point out, they don't mean shit unless you get a trade plan for that. So that might be your target. If you bought now, it'd be your target. It's the place you're going to sell. So the guy that was talking about the euro and the pound crashing down, the thing is that you got to be, this is the daily chart with that indicator, you got to be the guy that's willing to sell into, when that blue line was here, it was here at one point. You got to be willing to sell into that. You got to be a willing seller. And of course, like I said, that's a crush of about almost 50 pips. So you could put your orders on this chart, drop them like this. So if I put a buy limits down here, say, I could put them right on that indicator. It's a 15 pip window. These last all day long now, these scripts coming in. And there's the stop. So that's you're risking about $18 to make $12 each time you drop this, but I would not repeat the same area because then you're screwing the whole point of using micro lots. Why would you trade in and to the guy that's trading in the United States, just get the fuck out. Just go over. Just go on. There's plenty of brokers you can go to. Just all you need is Bitcoins, and you're on your way. But I wouldn't tolerate those fucking. I mean, it's like it'd be like going to Pelosi's house to get ice cream. Fuck that shit. Fuck that bitch. These people are so fucking retarded. They couldn't manage. I mean, they could not get out of a fucking wet paper bag. They probably drowned in it. All these little rooftops are. This indicator is showing all these little cute rooftops. To me, these are all the supply zones stacking up. Because this, for me, it's just completely obvious that this, once you fill this, this void here, all the way to the tippy top, it's done. It's null and void. It doesn't exist. I believe the market only sees what this blue line sees looking back to the left. So the biggest natural crusher void is going to be this one. The sell territory. This is the daily chart. And I can only imagine right here at this point in the chart, some poor guy has, okay, that was 6 minutes after. So that's kind of coming into Wednesday and the swaps and all that crap. So I figure the rest of the week I'm expecting the dollar to go up against the yen. But, the euro could go up against the dollar. There is no kind of, I can't make that correlation because you have to see, trade what you see, not what you think. And if you overthink, well, look at the dollar index, let's make sure we get this all in sync. I just can't, I'm sorry, but you can do it. Bless your heart, as they say. I can't even fucking imagine. That'd be like saying, I don't know, jack all trades master, nothing. I mean, if you focus on, it's so funny how absolutely silly the market is. Like, look how many dips into this window of 20 pips here, and then just takes off and rips the other way. And that's on the daily. That's reversal trading the daily. No nonsense could never conceive of that because he probably blew up his account one day on that one trade. Now we've all done these trades where we go, oh, I got this trend system. You should see this clouds with the Ikonushus and the Hakantashis. Oh, dude, I load the wagon on these fuckers. It's amazing. Yeah, till the day it's not amazing, right? Because the perfect setup, I remember this shit. I'm following my rule systems. I'm a dedicated loser. I'm following my rule system. I'm a disciplined trader. Dude, you're dating a girl she's like, she doesn't even speak your language. I mean, you can't even, it's just sex, really? Maybe, right? So just rent one. Rent a girl that can speak English, for God's sakes. Why waste your time? Lease a car. And, of course, I probably got a chip in there watching, see if you get COVID. Real-time insurance rates. He's got COVID. He doesn't have COVID. Man, I'm telling you what, with the apps, I want that app that says, another executive order is coming. It's on its way. We have some disgruntled, spoiled brats in the streets again. Yeah, the Riot app. Ooh, there's a Riot within. I could just, honey, do you want to go to Riot tonight? We could get ice cream. We could fucking watch them burn down the Starbucks. I mean, I gave up on Starbucks. It's an era that's gone, and it's not by my hand. It's the goobers losing their fucking minds. Like I said, if you let this is like giving a guy a $300 account and telling him to trade standard lots. What the fuck could possibly go wrong? Americans, dude, Sweden's up and running. They're like, what are you guys doing? They're using dogs at the airport to fucking sniff out COVID. Yeah, of course. These cats are jumping up on fucking people's beds just before they die in the hospital. Apparently they're tuned in. Anyways, I'm looking for this crush in the dollar yen to just go zooming up. I talked about this wedge a week ago when I got in on this trade, when I said Trump has just been diagnosed with COVID, and I show you the COVID diagnosis move. Now, this was Thursday, and I was all giddy, so I kind of made a video, and I bought down here really heavy. And then I added when it pulled back. And this is 12-hour pullback, so I added here on the 12-hour pullback. And now I'm just sitting waiting for the end of the world, so they probably won't get some deal done, and that's why the market's going up. But no, I don't think so. What's going to cause it here is this, in my mind. So don't take offense. If I make this, I'm going to put my void fill indicator on this one. So I can see in my mind's eye where the void is, but just to verify, we got to have that 20 EMA too. Anybody, so that's what Citibank uses. So I get a kick out of this. It's looking back, marking off all the highs and lows. And look at this wackadoodle. It's not a bad tick. That's the real data. Here's the weekly. Man, is this going to break out? Like, look at this, the nose on this puppy. Now, all that stuff, this big giant retracement, totally retraced that. Mind-blowing. And this is very quiet. This is the calm before the storm. So is the dollar going to fall apart into the lowers, or is it going to go up? I think the pressure here is a bigger wedge of insanity. Like this, we'll take this out like a zipper, all that stairway. Where this side here is more of a shelves, although you could take these shelves out. But I think the pressure is higher on the top side of there, or the, whatever you call it, order and balance. And this could just be amazing. That's the monthly, don't forget. So it really doesn't mean anything in the big picture, but as you zoom in, you're like, wow, look at the, this is the top down view. I'm sure everybody's familiar with this view, but like I said, for the big deal, and maybe it's got something to do with China. I don't know. It's Japan, but like I said, in my mind, it's just about volatility and then lack of volatility. It's on and off switch is pretty brutal. Look at this sell-off here. That's the 4-hour chart as you crush into this mind-numbing low. And I'm going to tell you, if your scripts last all day long and this thing starts to melt down, now you have to be able to look back enough to see why is this thing, it's probably falling into like a 3-year low back there or something. Okay, once it takes this out, this is why you'd have to be really careful. Like, if you're going to think it's going to retrace here, you start buying there and you're like, well, shit, got to look left because this, man, when they take that out, look out, people. Although if you're an eager person that you can handle a 200 pip smash, you just made 300 pips off that bottom ticket. Now the whole rack of tickets is in there. And if every day goes by and you're throwing your limits out, that means you don't get picked up on these unless you decide to put the orders out there if you're coming in front of the market. And both of these drops here are like, people always like to make this measured move. Like, look at this thing. It is capable of that move. There's no doubt. Like, this smash here is just unbelievable. These three, actually. The rate of change here over these days is as brutal as that. and this is brutal, and this is a little slower, but those are tremendous. And where are they going to? So this one's going into this supply zone, rips up here, and once it fills above that one, rips this way. But it's this constant, I guess you call it stop hunting for the guy that's on the wrong side of that with too tight a stop, or even the guy with a wide stop. I used to put stops in, so I didn't realize what pips were, So I was trading the euro versus the yen and the euro versus the dollar. And I thought, the euro versus the dollar, euro versus yen. I thought, what the hell? Boy, this euro versus the yen's moving like 3 times as much. Like the pound's moving 4 times as much pips over the same day, typically. And the structures and all the kind of stuff you see, you're like, wow, that's like... But, the person that's selling this top, and then they get out here, boy, that means that you had to ride a 200 pip pullback. Now, maybe you did just sell everything you sold here, and then when you saw that you sold every rally, you sold, and you're like, my target's below here, I'll cash out. And I'm sure there is a guy that did that, right? But there's also a guy that just said, well, for God's sakes, I can't handle that much. I'm just going to buy this fractal, this same concept. These are like trapped trading, I suppose, if you're putting a sell stop here. This is the whole thing about what a retail trader is. So some guy said I traded like a 12-year-old girl, and I thought, that's complimenting. But because they probably out-trade him, because they just tell the 12-year-old girl, like, babe, it's down hard, press this button. Like, oh, every day? Yeah, every day. Every day you see it's like down like a monster. Here, when it's down 150, 120 pips, pull the 120 pip trigger. And what's down here, pull the trigger, and pull the trigger, and pull the trigger. And then what else? Well, don't buy here when it's up. Only buy when it's down. Buy. And then it comes back to where you started buying. Get the fuck out. I mean, I don't know if you could, hey, listen, just explain it like there's this little snail. He's crawling over the screen. I mean, 12-year-old girl, I don't know. Maybe 8-year-old girl, 8-year-old boy here. Like, here's a game it's called Watch the White Line Move. I mean, the problem with adults is they're like, oh, fuck, that's like... I better make sure I do this right. So the carefree state of mind is the whole Mark Douglas argument, is that, once you don't care, same thing with Bill Williams, once you psychologically don't give a fuck. But it's kind of weird because, you got to shake off or just reinvent them, or you just reframe shit to yourself and say, okay, I know this feeling, like I can't believe this trade. And so once you that's why I put the risk dollar amount in the scripts, that at the bottom on the right there is kind of estimated what it would cost you. Cost you $23 to make $17 with a 20 pip stop and a 20 pip take profit. So these top tickets here are pretty accurate because I tried to price in the spread considering it's 2 to 3 pips ish. I think I put a 3 pip spread on these tickets. So you're buying a 10K with a 20 pip stop, which means it's a 10 pip stop on the last ticket. You'll lose that whole bank of 10K after you go 10 pips past that, wherever you drop this. So if you put it up here all day long on this rooftop, that's a 10 pip window, which is half of that 20. That's our 10K. And then, so that's going to be a break-even ticket, but you're actually going to risk $23 to make 17 if the whole thing plays out without you getting stopped out of that. So this is the classic break-even, supposedly, but not really, right? Here's even worse than break-even, but higher probability, is a 15-pip window with a 30-pip stop to make 20, and I would put it right down here. Easy, obvious, and it's kind of taking care of that wick. But for me, I'd actually buy all the way down. I'm just using this as an example because I don't think that ticket's going to fill tonight or even tomorrow. That's the daily chart we're on. If we come back there, Trump is already back in the hospital. Something's wrong. There's something really wrong. Now here we can obviously see, and I'm sure everybody was anticipating, once we take this low out here, holy God in heaven. But I say for the peoples that have the deepest pockets, and I guess that's what a big boy is, he doesn't care. He buys here, and he actually makes 20 pips on that top ticket, but he buys, like there is the person that can afford to buy here. And then you martingale at the 100 and just, you got actually more tickets down here where you'd basically put a lien on your house and get in here for like just this move alone. It'll make you 40 grand, whatever it is, $400, you know, mind numbing amounts of money. I mean, just go ask that Sue Lee guy, this Samurai Trader fucking, dude, he could fucking crush it. I'm sure he'd be like, oh yeah, this, we're selling that. He's out. You know, this guy's taking an account from $1,000 to like 40 grand. And then of course you can wipe it out, which to wipe that account out. So here's another thing is that there used to be this guy, maybe he's out there listening. He was the forex hangout guy. And so Ghost FX or something. Straight-laced guy. When he saw Sue Lee trading, he goes, it's ridiculous. And I said, well, what's ridiculous about it? Because you can take 10 grand, 10 $1,000 accounts, $1,000 account, you make 30 grand. $1,000 account, you blow up. Next one, you make 10 grand. Next one, you blow up. Next one, you make 20 grand. I mean, at the end of the month, I know you blew up these $3,000 or $5,000 accounts, but dude, you're up 150 grand. So I think this is the big obstacle. And of course, when I have a new account, I feel like I have a new car. Oh, don't want any losing trades in there. But then you kind of just get numb to trading, I suppose. And a lot of people that haven't traded on the demo enough to get numb to it, and there you could still get numb to it in a real account. And the fluctuation. So you can only imagine that if you were very short on this, some giant position, that people say you're up 150 grand. Why don't you get out? You go, I'm trying to make 400 grand on this trade. So depending on what your stress level is for profits and losses, because honestly, if I'm up 10 grand on one ticket, I'd be like pretty amazed. I don't think I'd ever find myself in that kind of trade, because that would mean I'd have like $3 million account. And then I'd be like, I don't know, why am I trading again? I don't know. I guess I'm trading for income. So, but there would be so much money. Of course, then you'd have people talk about Frank Dodd. Forget about it. People would be fucking calling you up, asking for loans. I guess, you know, it's better to trade like shit. Nobody's going to ask you for money. Don't ever claim you're a successful trader. Rule number 92 in the How to Hide Out from the World. But I'm looking for this dollar yen to make me some money. So I'm in this giant swing trade, and God, man, the patience level. So the dollar yen can be like dead and then go berserkoid. And I thought I was going to go nuts the other night. So I was in this trade through the coming into Sunday, and they had this news they're going to come out with like, oh, they're coming out with the bank rate, but it was listed yellow inside a forex factory. So I thought, well, whatever, fuck, you know. I mean, I was through NFP, dude. I was in the market during NFP. I was like, this is it. Like, that's the move. Like, the news isn't what it used to be. And the fact that this no-nonsense guy wasn't going to trade he doesn't trade from here to the end of the year. I've heard this shit before. The other one that cracks me up is, you know, the summer, a lot of the big houses don't trade, and, you know, summer's kind of dead. This no-nonsense, or these people say this in power trading shit. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? I'm on the 5-minute chart getting my ass pummeled by the euro yen. I mean, I don't have a rule like that. And that's the thing. All these rules people got, well, you know, 10 bars back if we see I don't know, 3 dojis about, and then when ICT started talking about, you see this gap opening on the 1-hour chart, dude, that's on that broker you got. Not every fucking broker got that same data shit. What are you on the fucking Citibank terminal? Does it matter? What the fuck? I mean, that's why I just come on rap to people like, why are you being such a meanie rat? Because this asshole puts himself out there with the watermarks and all this shit, and I got the fucking treasure map fucking journals. Like, dude, You're killing us. It's hilarious. Lisa, you're killing me. It's hilarious shit. Don't stop. But I mean, he did stop. And then, but every time, if I post this shit, like I said, my big grief is that the reason I got all pissed off last night, he's like, copyright strike. I'm like, dude, this is like, that's like copyright and just like shit you can find on the internet. Well, what I'm doing is very puzzleistic. I know you fucking, I know, OT level 8, I can start over at 3. No, I mean, I'm not saying it's not for it. You can do it. Like, apparently he's got people loving to death. There's one guy's like, you don't understand, man. No, it's like I said, it's all good. I mean, there are things he's saying that are obvious. My gripe is that he's making it cryptic as if he's the only guy showing it. Like, I'm the only guy that, listen, man, I'm telling you right now. I mean, you may think I'm the only guy. I am the only guy. And what the fuck? Just the pompousness. I'm not saying, because I'm saying that there's people trading around me in sizes and shit around. I know, I can see where those people are. Do I want to get on that train for 4 hours and ride that? We can all see what a winning trade is by looking back on the chart. But can we anticipate it? Yeah, we can put in the fucking buy limits like a goober. And this is really even ultra goober because I'm just saying, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to put buy limits down there. Now, I could have made about $500 in this account instead of $300 if I really would have said, oh, this is like real money. I won't worry about this account. Or every day it's a different, so every day it could be a different picture here. And you may be looking at the fill by when the jobs report comes out Thursday, maybe you're looking for them to come and plunge into some buy limit bank that you got pending all week long. You can make these weekly expirations if you can't get to the platform, but once a week. And then you just let them sit there and fill and be like, fucking ain't. I mean, it's kind of stupid. I know. I did it once, and with a single ticket, I go, I'm going to put this trade on. I'm going to go to work, come back. Oh my God, this fucker's sitting there. So I'm like, I'm up $50. What should I do? Fuck. I'm like, I just got out, because I couldn't assess it when I'm looking at the chart. I could not assess it. I couldn't say, oh, wait, I knew if we were here by here, I would stay in, and that because we haven't played out this whole vacuum fill. No, I just got out. And of course, if I woke up in the middle of the night like that, so I'll put in tickets, wake up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm up, get out, go back to sleep because I can't assess it. Because, sometimes I don't expect them to spike the market either deep as they did. And of course, I kind of want to see what happened if I'm not in the market and I got the buy limit tickets. Now the market order is sitting there on the tablet. I'll just punch it in and go, I just got to get in like with a wide stop because I can see that I'm not in big enough or they stop me out. But I've got a tactical advantage because I got the limit in there first. That's the plan your trade your plan. Because when people say plan your trade your plan, and they trade at the market, that means you got to wake the fuck up at 5 a.m. And what if you're tired or hungover because you just had to rent some girl that speaks English, and now you got to fucking deal with the goddamn, you're like, oh, I got to get up at 3:30 in the morning. Here comes London Open. Is it a breakout? Is it a fake out? And of course, if you're scared out of your fucking mind, that's no good. And if you got the limits in there and you're like, yeah, I've been through this a million times or even been through 100 times, you just get callous to it. That's all I'm saying. I mean, psychologically, there's no cure for experience. So you just, same rinse and repeat. And if you're going to trade the daily charts and you're like, no nonsense, people are probably waiting days to get in a signal because they're waiting for all this shit to line up. Oh, it's oversold and it's, then they got the indicators on the indicators, so they put moving averages on their RSI to really filter it out. I'll make sure this one doesn't have age like the last girl. Like, I mean, it's just, you just can't live your, dude, put a mask on. I'm saying, okay, I'm just going to put it out there. No nonsense is a guy that would be trading with a mask on. Yeah, don't want to die. So I don't know if you know what Menards is, but it's a place you buy, it's like Home Depot. Some guy wrote a letter, and the guy wrote back and said, we want to serve you, but we don't want to die. Now, dude, nobody's dying. Okay, there's 400 dead people in the United States today from COVID, and those are cooked numbers, okay? Nobody's dying. Let it go. Let it the fuck go. Stop it. So this Dow, we're about to crack the code on the top side here. So you can see what I'm talking about structurally here. You see the trade I'm looking at? Once we tip this window of 40 pips, then we can shear this off all the way to the 100. Boom, we're out. Now you could take this scalp and this would be your like, yeah, one day. Now this, you might want to make that last a week up there, right? Because the way this market is, unless you go plummeting. This is the Hannah forex trade, and Hannah's right sometimes, because look at this, the Hannah forex. But this is my dream for this dollar yen trade, anyways. That's it. I'm dreaming that this is going to do one of these hockey stick, this global warming trade. So the Greta Thunberg entry, but we get in before the drama. So I want to load the wagon. This is the accumulation phase. And then we mark up into the void. We crush this puppy, clear this out. Boom, we're done. And then we could have cells up here, but I would have bigger cells here. Medium, small, tiny, teeny tiny, but that's a 20 pip grid, and you could just, every day it's up. Hopefully you're going to go down to the 4-hour chart and be able to make money as it comes up into this. I got to imagine this is going to be scalper's dream up here, because they'll crush that really quick. So it should wick up and wick back, but it will re-wick. So this is the daily. You get all these re-wicks, you know. And this is a huge distribution phase. I don't know why people want to say Wyckoff doesn't. All he's saying is that during this doji consolidation, we're either going to blow out this blue line, or at the time there was a blue line here, if you can imagine, and then kablamo, right into the void, and then suck back up. So right now we've got this standing here. We've got a void below us, so we could still poke down, but this is a looming void above. My dream is that we pop up. So coming into Wednesday, Wild Wednesday, we could be hitting this 100-yard line by the time London opens, and then here, and then I'm going to cash out into that. And then I'll just come back in with limits and just do the whole thing all over again. So even in like this move here, if I was anticipating a crush into this void, once we fill it, got to get out, refill it, and see this rooftop in a 20 pip window. You're either selling that or you're getting out on this plunge here. And this is a 3 days of trading. I'm literally trading up, down on that daily, because why not, right? When you come down and you nick this wick, wow, that's a reversal. Now, you could have waited all week for that. You could have put that order in, you know, when you were up here. What I would like to do on that trade is I look at this void here, and I got buy limits all the way down, but I got more buy limits below there. And as soon as we get back to the floor we took out, I'm out, and maybe some drift, but I don't want to wait another 4 days to make 20 damn pips here. This is not worth it. And then we form a triangle. At that time, the blue line was here. And this is just a lot of nothing going on. This is probably the lowest volatility apex anywhere on this chart, other than maybe, I don't know, this had a little wick before it exploded here, but this was a hell of a, like, wow, we're going to bust into this. I'm sure people are like, that's how I feel right now. We're going to bust into that. So that's my dream, I say. You got to have a dream, you know. You got to have some kind of target goal. So the British pound, so here's my winning trades of the day here. Of just placing orders without regard to anything other than that's higher. So the first winner of the day was the British pound, because it came ripping back off this ceiling. So I'll see all these little arrows up here. Delete my drawings. So these were the cells that I put in right there on the chart. I deleted some, so you can't see what I did earlier, but I did sell here as we came into Monday, and it's just, I just deleted it because I was like, oh, I want to clear up that chart, so that kind of screwed it up here. Look at the 4 hour here. So what I was looking at there was The reason I put the tickets up there, and some haven't filled actually. And then I put this buy limit in right here and caught a little bit of a bounce. Just kind of nicked it here. Here's the buy limits there. And then we just pummeled through that. And I put these buy limits in earlier. So I'm actually up on this trade. These did not fill. But this whole rack here, see these guys? Now, I think I got stopped out of maybe this top rack or it cashed. Yeah, those are the 10 pip banks. So I could say, let that retrace, and this is where you would make a decision after these fills, because it's like a trading assistant. You're in the trade now. Should you cash out and let it go? That's the 1 hour. There's the 4 hour. It's a killer buy in the 4 hour. So see where the arrows are. I put those tickets there because of that 4 hour structure and this wick here. So I knew that anything below here for the reversal I want to get in. So you can put the box in and then put the tickets in. And here was the other tail. I filled on this wick. And then these were all, I know they filled because they lasted all day. And there was a scalp, and I think that scalped out actually. That's the 4 hour. And here's the other one. So this is what I'm currently in. So yeah, that was fun. And then it looks pretty insane here. Look at the daily. Look at this British pound come smashing. I know this guy wanted to sell it, but wow, that thing come just brutal. So here at this point, I'm sure a lot of people are like, yeah, that thing's going to hell. So in the dailies, it was right here, I think. Yeah, so this guy was like, oh, dude, this thing's going to hell. Yeah, once it takes that up. But once it gets below there, holy shit. And it even gives you these dumbass candlesticks. But to me, these are the entries. Accumulation under the floor. Accumulations like the doji, the quiet thing. And you can have an ATR. Another thing is, I did the thing on the ATR, open to close ATRs. In other words, it just shows you all the daily small bodies. I call these dojis, even though that's a hammer. 3 dojis here. Then the trend trader entry the doji. Big down candle, buy possibly for bounce here, but more likely buy limits here all the way down all this week, rest of the week. Looking for some kind of dead cat bounce in there, but this is just a mind-blowing rally into that top. And look how it's about 1 pip away from the top of that. But like I say, I'm willing to sell into that 20 pip window there. That's certainly a nice place to get in. Okay, so that's my trade. We're going to see what happens. I'm holding on to the... I don't think I'm going to add to this position. Unless the market comes down, and what I did was I ran trailing buy limits today to pick up any kind of pullbacks in the dollar yen. And this thing can really just rip. Seriously. I mean, it can go into like serious people piling in. So the reason why I don't look at volume and all that stuff is because I'm just trading price. I really don't care how big. What's the volume accumulation? Really? I mean, when we go below here, I'm going to tell you what. I know the volume accumulation is big, and we never make it to here, amazingly. Right? So putting your order down here and not getting filled, that doesn't work for me because I want to buy as we're coming down in. And I can buy at the market every day. It's below here, so buy. 3 buys at the market. We're accumulating under the 100. We can come back to here. We could take the whole trade off. We don't have to ride it into this void. And yeah, it gets all drifty here, and it's really, yeah, you're kind of hanging out, you know. Here's the top become a bottom. The argument that we're going to go here. You know, the other argument is that we went down so hard that the big boys are all bought. They all long there. They all loaded the wagon down there just like me, see. I mean, it's so funny, but people think's going on around them. Look at that euro, just punished. Now this could just start collapsing into this floor, and you know it's going to be hairy. So my answer is, let's buy that thing. Let's not repeat any of the entry prices. So use different kinds of stops, different size stops, but I'll just coat this thing. I will definitely have to buy more at the bottom. Put a couple 10Ks down here at the very rock bottom. So on the 4-hour chart, come on, you can give me the 4-hour chart. There you go. Different story here on the 4-hour chart. Now you can really see the structure, and like, look at that. You're gonna have your tickets in these voids. It's a high probability trade. It won't last long in that deep vacuum. I can tell you that. And if you're afraid, then just put your orders in super deep, and you'll be like, oh, too conservative. They're never gonna come down and fill me. That's the 4-hour chart. So another 4 hours down, another 8 hours down, you could get filled on that. And so I'll go to sleep. And if they fill me on these, I'm okay. I only have $280. So I could go flat right now, but I'm in this pound trade. So let me take the pound trade off the table. So here's where, people would say, well, you didn't let the trade, it's all about the yen. So I'm going to do the same trade. I'm trading my real money here. See if I can get out of this, whatever's up. I'm going to close just that symbol. Just the pound. Oh, I'm still in some pound. So I can close these off manually. Let me do it by symbol and just get rid of this pound. So I'll take a big loss here of about $1. Another thing is, you'd be surprised. Somebody said I was trading for peanuts. You'd be surprised, man. You get to about 500K real easy. Dropping massive banks of tickets, you could be in a 500K, no sweat. Now I'm up $49, and I'm in the dollar Swiss. I'll show you the dollar Swiss trade. So these are all the trades I did, and they last 24 hours if I don't delete them. And I haven't deleted any tickets, but I have cashed out of winners. So as we went up in the, and this is right about when Trump came out and said he wasn't going to fuck around with this dumb shit Pelosi. So, honey, you got to get the fuck out of there. So here's a classic. We're coming back to the floor. I'll show you. Here's the orders I put in based on new lows. So I put the crop in down here, as you would imagine you'd have to, based on that buy low, buy the trap, so to speak. I don't know anyone to explain it. By the vacuum. So here's the 1-hour charts. Let me show you. So I'm like, oh God, this thing's crashing down. Now I wish I would have bought more, of course, right? But I had buy limits down here that did not fill. But I captured the very rock bottom there, and there's no harm to underfill like that. And of course, it never made it into the hole. So let me show you the structures here. Now, if I had my orders sitting, you can make these things last all week. You could have dropped them last week. That's the 4-hour chart. You could have put a monthly order in, actually. So when this thing opened up on Sunday, you could have bought that whole crush. You could have put the orders in last week on a Wednesday, and they would have lasted a week without even being here for that trade. And that was the obvious deep hole. At that time, that blue line was up there. So it looks to me like we're coming to the floor. We're going to crack through it now. And we're going up. And so is the dollar yen. And Bitcoin's getting into this kind of creepy triangle. I think Bitcoin could take a tumble, or it could rally. That's the daily Bitcoin. I'm just using this as my triangle, these yellow lines there. Daily. So yeah, there could be a big bloodbath. And of course, going to the gold market, I thought I was right about that trade, that we're coming back to the floor, but now it's a buy all over again. So we came back to this. The sellers came in, we're below now. Here's the moment of truth. Are we going to crush that? Or are we going to tumble and start taking this out? And I think that the dollar is going to go up and we're going to start. I know people bought gold up here in this trap. You know, the goobers got the gold. But I could be wrong. You know, we could come here and all we have to do is flip above this, stall out, and then crush. Like I think we're going to crush through the central fair value, middle of the bulge, so to speak. Here's the reason to go along the dollar is to sell in this rooftop. Now you're back in the buy window all over again. If you have buy limits below that, you're kind of, you know, like I said, those first tickets may not be winners, but like I said, the pullbacks like this, you wish you would have bought more, right? I mean, you may be expecting once you trade this style, you're expecting it to come below here and fill this so you can get this trade. You never get it, right? Because actually you got it here. Once it filled that, you're like, wow. But it comes into this trap, so it's always, and it's not how many bars back, it's just the fact that these are prominent climax prices, right? Like even this was good for this many pips, 100 pips, but then the hand of forex trajectory it's a real thing. But because the market does move like, look at this crush. Lordy B, look at that thing. Man, that is a clean move. But once again, once it gets below here, party's over, man. It's time to gobble that up. Almost comes right back to this. But I think really the liquidity is these right in the high of the day there, and that's the real critical thing. Dollar CAD, same story. Once we get below this, forget about it. That's a good move there. 80 pips. Still going up. I think we're going up, up, up. So I'm just riding the dollar yen of all the baskets of dollars. They are kind of moving together, right? I got you, but there could be all shenanigans. I know there's news coming out. New Zealand, it looks great on the daily charts, you know, but when you go down the 1 hour chart, you're like, dude, what are you doing in this trade at this price level? What is this? What are you doing? What happened to the, like, yeah, then the spread's bullshit, right? Look, the spread's god awful. It's two pips here on the CAD, and it's probably 3 on the New Zealand. Okay, it's tight on the New Zealand. It's not too bad. Coming into, so here's what I think's going on with the stock market. This is the end of the NASDAQ, I think, for a while. So we're going to go back into, this is just my prediction, we're going back into like the nut and bolts world. Tech's gone. Bye-bye, tech. Tech's fucked. We just hit our climax. Sorry. If you're in this NASDAQ, I would seriously get the fuck out. Why? That's the monthly chart. Do I need to say any more? If you think this is a pullback and we're going higher, I'm sorry. Elon Musk, all this shit, it's done. It's so funny. People show up into this stuff, and if Trump wins, this fucker's coming all the way. Here's my prediction, and he's going to win. Coming back to this shit. You know why? Well, the argument is that the market is ahead of reality. Oh, there'll be good times coming for the people on the street. They're going to kill it. These guys are going to get crushed. So the stocks are a leading indicator of prosperity. So the one things the Democrats didn't really count on is the fact that capitalism is the most adaptive and robust tool for survival anybody's ever invented. It's called freedom. So I know that's a bone crusher for these central planning cunts, but it's these people are going to get their fucking head handed to them here. And Silicon Valley and all this tech, it's going to be a tech wreck. This will be the tech wreck. Forget the year 2000 tech wreck, where the computers are going to lock up because they couldn't go for another decimal point. This is going to be a motherfucker. So mark me down for this. Well, if anything, what's going to happen now? If we do tank, it's going to be distribution fucking insanity up here, which is all choppy to fuck, right? There's no way. And I wish this would go to the yearly chart. I'm telling you, that is like, on the yearly chart, that is the biggest bullish yearly candle in your life you will ever see in your life. It's over. Put a fork in it, man. Put a fork in. Look at this thing. Are you kidding me? If you're buying NASDAQ here, you're out of your fucking mind. Even if you're a 12-year-old girl, you're out of your fucking mind. Dude, no. Look at the dailies even like, oof. You think we're going to take out that high? Look at this sell-off. I just notate the amazing Corona sell-off. And I did say this. Now, this is when No Nonsense says it's a bear market. Here's where Glenn Beck sells his stocks. I'm not even kidding you. Glenn Beck, what a boob. Good work, Glenn. The whole time this is lockdown. Yeah, you know, this is money going into online, you lock people down. I'm just saying fundamentally. I'm not a fundamentalist, but I can make the argument. I don't know what you call this. I think you call this the Trump. This is a nice rally. This is kind of like a little bit safer. When people see this shit, I would love to go to the headlines right here. I think it's the beginning of, beginning of Corona, but go to the headlines here. Oh, it's really good. You know, things are going good. You know, best economy. Everybody's working. Wow, the wheels come off. And once again, you got a buy limit down here waiting to get picked up. How you loving it? Why did it reverse down there? Yeah, because once it took out this, big boys are like, yeah, bring it. Come on, you toilet paper raiders. Give me that trade. I'll take it. It's very funny to watch the shenanigans from this. I'm not in the stock market. I'm not stupid. Like, I mean, I know the whole emotional thing of I'm an investor. You know, I own Apple stock. I've owned it since it was. People will tell, I bought and then people say, wouldn't it be nice to have bought Microsoft at $6? No, I don't want to buy some fucking piece of shit software stock. I don't give a fuck how much it went to. At least with the currencies, you're like, yeah, kind of like Europe. Oh, chicks are hot. I don't know. What's your rationale, right? And you have a good feeling because I bought Apple stocks and I own an Apple phone and I got an Apple computer. Look at you. Okay. But, man, it's crazy. This is going to be crazy. So, some of this stuff I figure is baked into the cake. Let me take one more look at the Dow CAD here. I think we're going to scream north for sure. Okay. Take the A train. So, let's see if we're leaving the station here tonight. Okay, we're leaving the station. So, we're going north. Looks like stocks are fucked the rest of the week. Actually, probably, I swear, NASDAQ, all-time high. I don't know if the S&P 500 here. I think I do. Here's the Hang Seng. I don't know if that helping anybody out. It doesn't help me. There's the 2008 crash. There's a monthly chart of the Hang Seng. I don't know. It looks like it's treading water to me. Here's the S&P monthly. Another thing, S&P monthly. Forget about it. Put a fork in it. This is the Corona stop hunt. Oof. I took out that stop. Fuck, I was long. Me and Jimmy Bob went long in the market. I waited until it came back to this breakout. We think I'm stupid. This optimal trade entry for the ICT people there. That's a ferocious market. You stand back and look at that. Now, remember when I kept telling people buy stocks here, like, not me, I wouldn't. But I mean, if you're a stock trader, you really can't lose. You're not going to, what do you, and this is when Boeing is like at $90, $80 here. So in people's minds, they're like, dude, this is going to fucking, we're all going to die. That's true panic. I must say that is never, you'll never see it again. Unless it's going to be like this from here on out, it's going to be insane. If it's like this kind of volatility, let me just project. That means that we're going to go up here. We're going to go like this. It's going to get all wackadoodle, right? I mean, who's gonna make money? Look at this thing. It does look like a buy here. I hate to say it, but it's a pullback. But for the love of Pete, not me. This looks like I said, the NASDAQ looks worse than this. Absolutely. Look at the monthly NASDAQ compared to the monthly S&P 500. Let's just take a quick snapshot. Try to remember what the other chart looks like. So this is ferociously pulling back where the S&P 500 is going to kill the NASDAQ. Like, this is not kill it, but I'd rather get on this train, right? Because it broke out, pulled back to breakout. This thing is over in front of its skis too hard. This is ridiculous. And I think that's fueled by the COVID order imbalance. People go online and buy shit. They're buying more phones, more tablets. They're working away from their house now. They need more devices. Here comes 5G or G5, where the fuck it is, the stuff that's making everybody get corona sick. I mean, dude, I know people that think corona's like hooked up to Alex Jones shit, gay frogs. But, hey, why not, right? But they did land on the moon, and the earth is not flat. But, hey, listen, people throw shit out there. And this is epic times, man. I can't even fucking believe it. Now, the other reason this could crash, and this would be a fundamental view, is that the votes don't come in properly. So this thing looked to me like we're hell-bent on coming back to here, or at least coming after this guy's stop. It looks like a bloodbath coming anyways. So that's my 2 cents. I'm sticking to it. I'm going to post the indicator, that blue line indicator, the void fill, I call it, as a comment. You just got to copy and paste the code and then compile it. You just right mouse click on an indicator that you have and just delete the current code and just cut and paste that in. That's the cool thing about MetaTrader. It's such a toolbox of it's a simple program. It kind of reminds me of just the ukulele. It's simple, and you really can't. The depth that some people go into, like, I know there's this Ninja Trader, and I used to have this TradeStation. So I bought TradeStation for $2,000. It was so cute. So I was making payments of $100 a month on TradeStation, and they would mail you a parallel port key that it was a dongle. You could not boot that program unless you had it. I went through all this drama. And you're going to own the program. And then as soon as I own the program, they go, well, we're not going to talk to you. No more support. I'm like, oh, that's nice. So, but I learned a lot. I actually had this easy language in there, and I wrote the paint bars, which is my version of, like, have you ever seen my 1, 2, 3 period moving average, 4 period average paint bars? It's like looks like a cloud. And the paint bar to me was fascinating because I just look at the market at a glance and just go, hey, that's a fucking buy. Look, it's blue. Hit the buy button. So I would say that's years. That's fucking almost 30 years, 25, 30 years ago, fucking around with TradeStation. And at the time, I even had Aspen graphics. I mean, these things cost a mint, man. You had just the software alone. MT4, what blows my mind, MT4 software is free. It's super powerful. The broker lets you trade a fucking demo. They let you trade fake money, and you can back test it on Strategy Tester, and it's real-time data. Dude, you could not even touch. I don't know if people got, like I said it before, they got it so easy. Dude, if you were to trade in the old days, commodities, you would have to have about $3,000 of software, $3,000 of computers, $300 a month for data feeds real time, and fucking $40 to call in a goddamn trade on the phone. Now, dude, you could open an account for $40 if you know how to trade. You'd be like, yeah, this is fucking. And really, we're almost 8 o'clock here, but this is it, man. Especially this COVID ready all day. But I do recommend, if you're trading with indicators, wear a mask. Be safe. So the 15 minutes got to buy on the. I got to buy on the 15 there. Okay, buy the dollar, people. The markets are gonna. Nasdaq is gonna be brutalized. Look at the weekly. It's about to roll over. This is the shoulder. Daily just looks like noise shit. Daily looks like kind of a buy, but I'm saying in the big picture here, meltdown. It's a coming.